Another video from Share Local Code. In this video, uh, we're going to be using a web scraper called JSOUP. So JSOUP is used to scrape the web for important things you need in your project. So maybe in case now you need to use some information in another site and you want it to be updated in your own site. Instead of writing it from beginning, you can just scrape those that information from that website into your own database. So I'll be showing you in this video how to do all that. So this is a JSOUP here. It's a Java-based library for HTML parsing. So this is what we're going to be doing. So first of all, we are going to download the JSOUP live dependency. So to download it, you come to download here, and then you can see that there's a Marvin dependency script for us to use. So next thing we have to do is to creating a new project. So let me say HTML JSOUP, something like this, and then Marvin. I'll change this to HTML JSOUP. Yes, so all this will be the same. It's a Spring Boot application so that I'll be doing. So next, so here we'll be needing some dependencies. We'll be needing the web, Spring Web. We will need DevTools. These ones are the most common ones that is normally used anytime you are creating a Spring Boot application. Then we also need JPA because we're going to be saving those information that we got in that site into our database. So with JPA, we need let's say MySQL driver. Okay. Also, is there any other thing? Okay, so that's what we're going to be using. So I've already gotten the JSOUP dependency from the other site. So let me just look at this again. JPA, MySQL. Okay, so we can just start with this. If you see we need anything, we'll come here and we'll go to my Maven repository, and then we can get that from there. So we'll create. So we'll just see the new window here. Okay, so our project has been created. It's now loading the dependencies for this project. So first of all, what I can do here is that as we're waiting, I can just create some packages. So for the most common packages we're creating, first of all, we need model. So our class there will be modeling some phone information from a site to our own site, to our own database. So let us go phone. We're also needing a controller because we'll be creating some REST endpoints, REST APIs that we'll be using to connect. So let's say controller dot phone controller. Yes, so we also need a service class too. So let's just do service implementation. So service, that's phone service implementation. Enter, and then I think we also need. Okay, for now, this is this is all we need. So a model, a controller class, and the service class. So going into the model here, we need to create. Let's put in our different annotations here. So add data. Let's say, okay, before we can put at entity here, let's just use all args and no arg. Yeah. Okay, before we can put at entity here, which is the database stuff, what we need to do is we need to populate our application.properties settings to connect with our MySQL database. So what I can do here is that I will go to the previous project. Let me see if I have a previous project running that so I will go to a previous project to go and collect the settings there. Okay, so these are our settings. I'll just copy it. Okay, so the next thing to do is to create a database name for it. So this is going to be my HTML JSOUP DB. Okay, DB like this. We'll copy this, go to MySQL, and create the database there. Okay, so it has opened. So what I will do here is I will just remove all this. I'll use a create. So this is the script, create database, and then I'll just put in our database name here, and I'll click on this icon here to create our database for us. So if you look down here, you can see create database successful here. Then I will just use the keyword here to highlight this database name in our schema or what. So okay, so it has successfully done that. So if I refresh on our schemas, down here you will see the HTML JSOUP database here, which we have created. So now with this, we can go back into IntelliJ, go to data source here or our database here, and connect the two, as we are connecting IntelliJ with MySQL. So we'll create a new data source here. Look for MySQL database here. Okay, so we just replace localhost with name of our database. Also here too, you put in the name of database there. Here you put in your username and password here. Yes. Then you click on test connection. Okay, so it succeeded, and I'll apply. Okay, so it's completed now. Click on OK, and then just minimize this out. So now our project has been connected with our database. So next thing to do here is to going back into our model class here. We can now put the @entity here. Okay, so we need to put in the ID and generated value here with a strategy of identity. So strategy of identity. Okay, we'll import this. So is this a Jakarta annotation, and then we use private long ID. Then we'll also be needing inside this phone data class, this phone table. We'll be collecting the name of the phone, and we'll also be collecting the price of that phone. And also we might collect the ratings of the phone from their own website. So let's put it down here. So private string name of phone, private so we want to use like a big decimal here for the price. For now, let's use let's just do this. This big decimal for the price, and then let's use for the rating. Let's use a string there. For now, let's just do name and price. Let's just make it as basic as it can be. So name and price. For this price, we should we can use big decimal here. Okay, so with this we're through with this. I also forgot we didn't create the repository file here, so we'll just create it now. Repository dot phone repository. Okay, so we extend the JPA, but before we extend, this is supposed to be an interface, and extend JPA repository. Yes, so we need to put in the name of our class, which is phone, and the ID data type, which is long. Then we close the angle bracket, import this too. So with this, we have created the repository. So the next thing to do now is to go into controller class. You annotate this with a REST controller, because that's what we are doing. We want to create our own endpoints for this particular projects. So what to do here, we have to inject the service implementation into this this project. So private phone service implementation, phone service, and then you just inject by creating the constructor, and then you annotate it with the auto wired. Okay, so there's an error here because Spring Boot Spring Bean is not able to see this class. So we missed something. So going back to phone service implementation, we have to add at service to show that this is a service class, and we'll be doing our calculations in this class. So import this class. Okay, so going back, we have injected the phone service implementation into this class. So we can just put a final here, so this error will go. Okay, no problem. It's not because of the final keyword. I just remove it. So the next thing to do here now is to create two endpoints. So we're going to first create a get. In fact, the two of them is going to be a get mapping. So why we're creating a get request mapping is because we need to get something from the other site into our own site. So because of we are getting, we need to use a get mapping. But if in case we are posting something to that site, which we are not doing, we are going to have used a post, a HTTP request or an endpoint for a post. But for now, we're just going to be doing get mapping. So let's do get mapping. So let's say, so we're getting for this one, we have to get the base URL first. Let's say base URL. So I'll explain to you what a base URL is soon. So public response entity of a string. So we'll say get base URL. So we need a base URL before we can proceed. So let's say string response is equal to our phone service dot get base URL, and then we just return new response entity having a response of the string and then HTTP status code of OK. So we need to create this get base URL here inside the service implementation class. So click on it. So this is it here. So next thing we need to do here is that we need to use the JSOUP. So the JSOUP library, that's what we need to be able to pass through their contents, their websites, and get the necessary information that we need. Well, in this case now we're going to be using JSOUP in a way to get the base URL of that site. So let me come down to Google, so I will explain to you what a base URL is. So going back to here. Okay, so this is it. There are two types of URL you have to know. There's what they call the relative URL and the absolute URL. So for the absolute URL, so is this absolute URL we're going to be trying to get. So it's like the starting point of where every other resources is found. So as you can see here now, an absolute URL contains all the information necessary to locate a resource, while a relative URL locates a resource using an absolute URL. So in the way of writing this, you're going to be writing it somehow like this. So we're going to be using Jumia. So we're going to be collecting some information from Jumia. So let's say Jumia has their site name like this: http jumia.com.ng. Now, the base URL of Jumia will be this, followed by maybe something new year, maybe a new year stock, or what's new year stock. So this point like this URL you see here is going to be the absolute URL, meaning that all other URLs are going to be formed using this at the starting point. So if you have something like, maybe you're looking for let's say you're looking for beauty products or phone related products. Now you're going to come after this new year, after putting this new year stock, you're going to come here and you're going to use phone. So maybe this is their category, phone. So, or you want to get a beauty product, something maybe like a cream or something like that. You use beauty as the URL. So this beauty added here will make this a relative URL, because a relative URL locates a resource using an absolute URL as a starting point. So this will be the starting point, and then with this it becomes a relative URL. So I guess you have understood what a relative URL and a base URL is. So just coming back again, the absolute URL is the starting point of a URL, and it contains all the information that is necessary to locate a file. So if in case now I want to locate cream, now a cream product. So this is a cream product I want to locate. And then this from here is the base URL. This base URL contains all this information here. Let me go back. So it contains all this information here. And then a relative that is from this beauty here locates a resource. So it just locates the resource, and the resource is the name of the product which you want to get. So that's it here. So it locates a resource, but a base URL contains all the information, that is the category, any other links, and also the products that you also want to get. So that's the difference between a base URL and an absolute URL and a relative URL. So coming back here, we need to get our absolute URL. So that's it here. So I need to come here and change so let me just change this. So this is absolute. So we want to get our absolute URL, and I will show you how to do that using JSOUP. So okay. So coming back here, we need to go to JSOUP. So this is JSOUP here. This is JSOUP. So let me come here. So this is JSOUP here. So if you log into this site, let me create a new JSOUP here. So I'll show you where to go to locate that page. So JSOUP. So we'll click on the first one here. Yeah. So the next thing to do here, so this is the JSOUP page. We need to come down to this extract attributes, text and HTML from elements. Oh, sorry. We're going to come down to the working with relative and absolute URL. So this is what we're going to click on. So you can see it up here. Then this is the code we're going to use. So there's almost in every page, there's always a code for you to use depending on what you want to do there. So you want to do, your project wants to do. So we just copy this and then into our code. So I'll just drop it here. So we'll import these classes into our project. So document this is a swing. This element is also a swing. JSOUP JSOUP is also, let's try to, I think there's a problem here. Let me remove this and this. Maybe, okay. So let me use this instead. And for this, let me use okay, see, this is a test passer now. Let me see this. I think we still have an issue with the importing. So let me. Oh, sorry, we haven't installed the JSOUP dependency. So that's why it can't find the library which we are calling on. So I will just remove these two I've done here. So going back to JSOUP here, we'll click on download and then collect the dependency, the Marvin dependency here. I'll copy it and then go into our project into the form XML. I will just put it under the dependencies and tag there, and then I will reload the Marvin. So good. Okay, so it has completely installed into our project. So going back to service, you can see that the import classes are coming up. So we'll just import all the elements we need here. So this is it here. So you can see that they are from the JSOUP library. You can see it here. So coming here, what we need to put here is our base URL. So the base URL is jumia.com.ng. So that's what we're going to use as our base URL. So let's just put it there. So okay, let me just show you something. So going to Jumia now. Okay, let me say going to Jumia, I'll just put jumia.com.ng. So if I copy this is our base URL. So remember, it's different from the absolute URL and the relative URL. So this is the base URL to get into that site. So we'll just put it here. So you can see it here. And then this get is giving us error because we need to put, this is supposed to be a, we're supposed to put it in a exception. So we can say something like, this. So this will throw, and this will make this fine now. So I'll run this project and on this our endpoint and see what it gives us.